You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're down rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guy. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and I'd like to welcome all y'all, both new and established listeners of the show, to podcast 219 on the Sports Coma. That's right, 219, as we continue to climb on the Sports Coma, covering our beloved New Orleans Saints. So once again, I welcome y'all to a discussion in which we're going to be covering the Saints today and their second practice with the San Diego Chargers out in the beautiful, beautiful surroundings of Southern California. Man, it couldn't get no better than that. Pro football in Southern California. I guess it could get a little better if it was the regular season. That's the only best way, I guess. But outside that, that's what we're going to be talking about today on the Sports Coma. 30-minute podcast coming right on at you. We're going to talk about the happenings in day 20 between the Saints and the Chargers. Of course, the Saints had their second day out in Southern California. We'll get into that, the ins and outs of that today. We'll also have interviews from Coach Sean Payton. He'll chime in. All-pro wide receiver Mike Thomas chimes in. Both him and Trequan Smith have something to say about their development and what's happening with them. And also we'll hear from rookie defensive end Marcus Davenport, who is now showing signs that he is ready, and he'll get an opportunity to play against the Chargers coming up this weekend. So be looking out for that as well. And then in the second segment, we'll have our Who Dat Is aspect of the podcast, where we pick two players off the Saints team, one off the offense, one off the defense. Of course, this time around, we'll have rookie defensive back Natrell Jamerson. We'll talk about him. And then, of course, rookie offensive lineman Leonard. We'll get into his story as well and break those two down in the Who Dat Is segment in the second segment of the show. Now, to get into it on podcast 219, the Saints' second practice out there in Costa Mesa, California. During joint practice against the Chargers, Marcus Williams showed why the New Orleans Saints players and coaches have been raving about him throughout camp. He's stepping up in a major way, and he is really serious, man. He had interceptions. I think it's like 6 interceptions totally during practice or during training camp Marcus Williams has accrued. So that shows a really good resolve for a guy that went through such a horrible experience. But it's so far so good. He's not letting it impact him. I'm really impressed with this young fella, able to take a negative situation and turn it into fuel to propel him to be even better than what he was originally. You know, we go through that sometimes, and the best of us become diamonds from the pressures of life. So look like Marcus Williams is taking on that mantle. Second-year safety quickly diagnosed the pass pattern that was broke up en route, which was headed to Keenan Allen, and beat the Pro Bowl receiver to the ball. Perfectly timed interception. After the various drills, Phillip Rivers, he kept talking about finding Williams in the crowd and giving him a tap on the helmet as a sign of respect for the play that he made. It takes vision, and to have that vision in the second year when you're supposed to be slumping, hitting that sophomore slump with it, as it were, the second year slump. Marcus Williams is not buying into that thought process, so big ups to him. He's considered a ball hog by some, but he's what the Saints thought Jairus Byrd would be. And of course, that was a disaster that I don't even much want to recount. Other things that's happening in the camp is no doubt about it. Top receivers are running around, and both of them are wearing number 13. Of course, Michael Thomas and Keenan Allen, both of those guys wearing 13s. They're 2 of 5 receivers to catch 100 passes the last season, and they both have given defenses fits during workouts. Now, Mike Thomas, he caught 5 passes from Drew Brees on a day, including 3 during a situational blitz. He's clearly Brees' favorite target. Of course, we know that. because he catches every damn thing. He's a succubus in a good manner, football succubus. Everything he throw to him, he's going to catch. Now, Allen for Rivers was the guy who has been catching many balls from Phillip Rivers on the 7-on-7 drills. And judging for their work on Wednesday and Thursday, both of them receivers looking good to have a prime season. So one thing Keenan Allen really he just has to stay healthy. Other particular people that we haven't mentioned too much about since he got here, Michael Floyd. Of course, Michael Floyd had to play his way back into shape, and he obviously is back in shape. He is starting to catch on now, and of course a lot of people out there saying, okay, well, we're not going to carry 6 receivers, Q. We're going to carry 5. We got our 5. We got our top 4. Of course, you know who those 4 are. Mike Thomas, Ted Ginn Jr., Cameron Meredith, Trequan Smith, and Brandon Tate for kick return. We all think Brandon Tate will meet it. I think Brandon Tate will make the team. That's 5 receivers. Now, if the Saints do hold 6 because of some other situation, maybe they feel like Cameron Meredith is not full speed and they want to keep an extra receiver on the active roster, who would be that 6th receiver to you? A lot of people would say, Q, that's a simple one, man. I would give it to Keith Kirkwood because he's been showing up big, the 6'3", fast receiver. He hasn't been perfect. He's dropped a few balls in camp. But Michael Floyd is an interesting person to keep an eye on because if this guy can give you at least 75 to 80% of what he was in Arizona, you got something fantastic. And that's been a thing. He has not been able to catch on since his Arizona days with Minnesota and all these other teams he went to. With the Saints, if he continues to thrive and show what he was doing, this is a top-level wide receiver who can really pay big dividends on the other end. But Michael Floyd is a guy that a lot of people are looking out for. The 7-year veteran is starting to make his presence felt in practice. Floyd reported to camp he was at 235 pounds, way overweight, and he shed all that weight. And now he's 13 pounds lighter, and he's starting to show his ability to get open and gain separation. He showed excellent hands on a couple of nice receptions from Tom Savage and Taysom Hill. His size is an aspect. They consider him probably the best blocker among the Saints wide receivers, and that's pretty good because Mike Thomas is a hell of a blocker. And, of course, the Saints obviously looking to replace what Brandon Coleman brought to that wide receiver room. Michael Floyd is definitely just not only an upgrade but a super upgrade over what Brandon Coleman had capability of being. I mean, he's done it. You still waiting to see what Brandon Coleman, if he could really meet his potential. Michael Floyd came in the league as a superstar talent playing next to Hall of Fame wide receiver and Fitzgerald. So, I mean, this is, this is just common sense. He could be the answer. If he keeps catching the ball, keeps blocking, he can probably make the team. It'll probably force the Saints to say, man, we got to keep this guy. Anyway, let's talk about some highlights. Drew Brees had the best pass of the day. Eye-to-eye strike to Trequan with the converted 3rd down during team drills. He threaded the ball through a tight window with Jeff Richards and safety Jalil Adadi for the completion. Now, Justin Hardy and Ken Crawley both made nice pass breakups during team drills. Bad news is they both should have had interceptions on plays. They just couldn't hold on the ball, which has been a problem with Ken Crawley. He is, trust me, they're not going to be throwing that Marshawn Lattimore like that. They know what time it is. But they're going to be burning him up on that other side. All those extra passes is going to go to him and that second wide receiver over there. Ken Crawley has got to get better. He got to turn and locate the ball and start making these plays. He's going to have to start doing interception drills in the camp. That's what he has to do. He has to catch the ball. I mean, I don't understand. You got to stick them on these damn gloves and you still can't make the play. Mike Thomas made a spectacular leap and catch over Richards, who had tight coverage on the play. And, of course, Richards is a 6'2", 210-pound cornerback. So that's pretty impressive when you got a 6'2" cornerback and you got Mike Williams who's 6'3", 6'4", and he's just catching the ball all over the top of the guy. I mean, this guy, and Richards is actually going to be a pretty good little cornerback for him. Now, of course, it's difficult to judge the rushing attack during with the light days, but Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara, and Bo Scott had nice games during team drills. The Saints rushing attacks appears to be in midseason form. Now, Rivers did hit Artevis Scott for a touchdown in coverage against Hardy. Later, J.J. Jones beat Natrell Jamerson for a lone touchdown reception from Geno Smith during team drills. The Saints' first team defense had a win in the red zones against the Chargers' first teamers. Tyler Davison and David Oyamada combined for a nice run stuff on the second down. Kurt Coleman forced incompletions on the 3rd down in coverage against Virgil Green, which is the tight end. And a busted coverage by the Saints secondary led to a really easy touchdown reception from Austin Eckler on the check down pass from Phillip Rivers in red zone work. So Saints got to get that together. Okay, now here's a few little lanyard for y'all guys. Ben Watson, Arthur Millette, P.J. Williams, Alex Okafor did not participate in practice this day for the Saints. Will Clapp, Cameron Tom, Dion Barclay, who's been Mr. Invisible, all saw time at left guard in place of Andrews Peace during team drills. Of course, remember he's still on that pitch count. meaning that they're going to handle him with kid guards. Now, we're going to talk about a guard that I'm really hard on, Josh Terrible Laribius also spent some snaps across training at center. The workout was lighter by design Thursday. Both teams were in shells and worked primarily on passing drills. Now, Pete Carmichael, Joe Lombardi, Joe Brady, Brendan Nugent were all group of Saints coaches who made the 2.5-mile walk from the team hotel to the practice. So the coaches trying to even get in shape in this camp. So big ups to those guys. Be an example. If you're gonna teach these guys to be in shape, you can't be a big belly coach running around talking about, hey man, run, you gotta be running. You got to be running. Man, nobody takes a guy like that serious. So the coaches should be as in shape as the players in my book if they're going to be successful. You got a big beer gut, man. Watch out, Rob Ryan. Anyway, that'll do it for the first segment of the Sports Coma. When we come back, we'll hear some interviews from Sean Payton, Mike Thomas, Trequan Smith, Marcus Davenport, and then we'll hit our Who Dat Is segment on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Stick with us.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, Sports World? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share. And help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.
What's up, Sports World? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, theposhlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFD style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We're covering day number 2, Saints Chargers joint practice out in Costa Mesa, California, covering it. Of course, the Saints had an opportunity to play against this team yesterday. The day before that, this is the second. This is day 20 of the complete camp segment, by the way. And the Saints continue to show signs of need against a very quality foe in the Chargers. Now, in this area of the show, I'm going to play some interviews from Coach Sean Payton, wide receivers Mike Thomas and Trequan Smith, and Marcus Davenport on their thoughts dealing with today's practice. Now, let's get right into it. Here's Coach Sean Payton talking about his team's play during day 2 of joint practice.
Any questions on today's work? I thought overall we got a lot of stuff covered, and guys did a good job working with each other.
It was a plan from the start to go without pads for that?
Yeah, what we talked about was, helmets and shoulder pads, and then after we finished the one-on-one O-line, D-line pass rush, we kind of converted into the spider shells. So that was the plan ahead of time. Last year, we didn't even come out in shoulder pads, but we wanted to get some individual work done.
Sean, another day with Marcus Davenport. I know it's kind of hard to assess because he's a little bit behind, but just what are your thoughts on the last couple of days?
These reps that he's getting are obviously real important because he is behind. We'll have a chance to watch him again on tape. He's doing some good things, and I think it's good that he's getting to see a few different schemes defensively, offensive schemes, different personnel as far as who he's going against. But he's got a lot of catching up to do, but fortunately he's healthy now.
You had a couple of Astros out here today. Did you speak to them? They speak to you?
No, they're staying at our same hotel. So I think 5 or 6 of these guys had time. They came out, and it's great seeing them. I mean, coming off the year that they had, those guys go on those long road stretches, and, you know, it's a whole different deal with their travel. But it was good having them out here.
Sean, you added some veteran guys in the offseason, especially Ben Watson, Jermon Bushrod. Are you seeing effects yet of maybe their influence on the young core?
I think so. I mean, I think there's a handful of guys, Kirk Coleman, DeMario Davis, but Ben's someone who's been here. You know, Jermon obviously has got some versatility, and so the key with each of those decisions is just what's the vision, what's the plan, and what's the role, defining that, and then, you know, getting them up to speed and in shape. You know, all those guys are self-starters that work hard at it. So there's a reason they play a long time, you know, and you know, they've been good additions for us.
But part of the value you get when you sign
Absolutely.
them is the mature, like you wanted that for
it's
the
a calming
young team,
influence,
right?
and is a work ethic, and there's a lot of things that go into it. The locker room, how to prepare. You know, we say this all the time. We don't need to see it every day, but we still need to see it from them as well, you know, and so but those guys are doing well.
That's Coach Sean Payton breaking down his thoughts on the Saints practice day 2. Now next we're going to play a little bit from wide receiver Mike Thomas as he chimes in on his experience in Southern California.
How far you've
Mike Thomas.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing. You know, it's encouraging to, like, you know, set goals and set high goals and attack them. You know, you're going to run into probably some adversity along the way. There's going to be ups and downs, but to just be here and be in the moment, you try to stay in it.
How much family or friends do you have? Anybody out here today?
Yeah, I have my cousins here, my dad, bunch coming in throughout the week.
Come to the game?
Yes, sir.
Just how was it going against somebody else for a change?
It was just fun. You know, you want to go against you know, another well-rounded team, competitive team that knows how to practice, and, you know, a really strong defense. So just come out here and go against them, it keeps you honest. It allows us to see what we've been cooking up in New Orleans, how it works across the league. You know, although it's more team, this is like a starting point, and, you know, you get to come out here, compete against guys, learn new techniques, and just see how you stack up against guys across the league.
How do you feel like that one-on-one period went?
It was fun, you know. You know, one-on-one situations as a receiver, you look for it. You want to compete. You want to run as detailed route as possible. So that's what we're up against. And I feel like maybe we came out a little bit slow. It was things we could control though, and then we started to pick it up.
That's wide receiver, all-world wide receiver Mike Thomas breaking it down about his day going against that 6'2" cornerback over there and getting the best of him. But Mike Thomas is an absolute pro in every sense of the word. Good to have him on the Saints as an asset. Let's talk to what possibly could be Michael Thomas Jr. and Trequan Smith as he break down his experience in his rookie season. Here we go.
Correct. Like you said, like when I don't have to think about it, like it's like a much more higher possibility. Like I can, you know, be a playmaker. I can like feel comfortable. You know, I can adjust to things, not knowing like I'm running a route. Am I running the right route? Nah, I'm 100% sure I'm running the right route, and I know it's a possibility the ball coming my way. Yeah. Like when you know what you're doing, like it's just so wonderful. Like, you know, I kind of relate it to as you know, you're a kid and you taking a test, but you don't know. You know, you haven't studied, so you're not too sure if you got the questions right. But as a kid, you taking the test and you study, and you know for a fact you're finna do good on this test. That's how it feels when you know what you're doing, and you know for a fact that you know what you're doing, and the ball might come your way. It's a wonderful feeling, you know.
You said you're at 50%, Trequan. How much more do you feel like you need to know before you can play in all situations in this offense?
Right now, I'm at one position, but, you know, I want to know everything. I want to know every position because me being at one position, I'm holding myself back, you know, like I said. But if I be in my playbook more and learn more, I could play in different positions, so it gives me an opportunity to play more.
What has kept you from leveling off in this preseason? We see that you keep making plays, you know, regardless. What has kept you from leveling off or hitting the rookie wall or whatever you want to call it?
Simple. I believe I'm a competitor. Like, you know, I want to come out here and compete. I compete against my teammates every day. Like, you know, they talk to me. They be like, bro, you got to compete. This is a dog-eat-dog world. You know, it's either you're going to make it or you're not. And then when we came out here, it's a good experience, you know, competing against other people. You know, you go against your teammates every day. Now you got time to compete against the Chargers, which was a great feel for me. And I want to show them, because they haven't seen me. So I got something to prove to these guys. So, you know, I got to show them to respect me. It's not going to be given to you respect. So, you know, you got to go out there and earn their respect.
Trequan Smith, man, sounding like a true veteran wide receiver, though he's a rookie. And he's learning that work ethic from playing in the same receiver room with guys like Michael Thomas, who's excelling. Being that some guys are just naturals. Trequan Smith could possibly be that guy. Could you imagine Mike Thomas as he continues to get even further along and him bringing Trequan Smith with him and Trequan Smith in tow? And you have those two as your top wide receivers for the foreseeable future. That can definitely expand somebody's career, like Drew Brees, who wants to play to the mid-40s. Think about that. Well, even though we got these young players contributed, we got a pretty much a strong young team. Now, with the upsides is the offense is looking terrific. How about the defense? Well, the top first-round pick for the Saints this year, who they gave up an extra pick for, is Marcus Davenport, and he will play his first action against the Chargers this weekend. Let's hear what Mr. Davenport has to say about his experience so far.
You know, just trying to progress. You know, feel myself getting better, knocking a lot of rust off.
Is it a matter of just getting back into football shape, or, you know, where are you?
Right now, I was getting back into the mentality. You know, just thinking quick again and making sure my body's able to do it.
You know, Coach said they wanted to kind of keep you on the snap count. Did you feel pretty good with the count they had you on?
Yeah. You know, they're just helping me progress. You know, it's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm progressing.
How does your body feel now that you're back?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, just still working through some things. You know, continuing to stay on top of maintenance.
Having missed the first two preseason games, anticipation for this one?
Yeah. You know, there's always anticipation for the next game, and really, I'm just looking forward to getting better and actually playing.
Marcus, what are some things that came easily for you in your first week back, and what were some things that were like, whoa, I need a little more time with?
The running came easy, you know, conditioning. I've been conditioning for a while, but it's actually seeing the game that's I have to get back to.
How frustrating has it been? Obviously, you didn't want to start off your pro career dealing with injuries. Has it been frustrating since you're not here?
Honestly, it's been frustrating, but luckily, you know, my teammates have been there. You know, I can lean on them. You know, they teammates and coaches. They've been helping me through the process.
Marcus, when you said seeing it, did you have to almost kind of restart mentally and kind of start back over, or were you able to pick up from where you were?
See, you know, I've been taking a lot of mental reps, so, you know, I can see it from outside. Now it's just actually going in there and reading keys, checking through keys, and that kind of stuff. You know, I feel like these past couple of days have helped me a lot, especially on that.
How much do you feel like you learned from a mental standpoint while you were out?
A lot. It really gave me a bird's eye view. You know, I had to get in with my coaches, watch, be able to critique and learn and apply it mentally. You know, I still had to learn all the plays and all that.
Cam was telling us the other day that he's giving you a couple guys to kind of study around the NFL, just the same frame as you. Who are those guys that kind of stick out to you?
I like Hunter. I like him a lot. You know, Ziggy too. But really, you know, he's been a big guy I had to look after. You know, he always helps me, gives me good critiques, and shoot, that's my mentor right now.
That's Marcus Davenport breaking down, you know, his frustrations and the fact that his team is giving him that moral support to say, hey, look, man, we all go through injuries. Look at Alex Okafor. Look at Trey Hendrickson. Look at Mitchell Lowen. Look at some of these guys that have been unfortunate, but they're still fighting and rehab and coming back. Even our linebackers, A.J. Klein, Alex Anzalone. You know, these guys dealing with injuries. P.J. Brown, for goodness sake, another guy. So, you know, Kakaha, over injuries. So, and Cameron Meredith, I can go on and on. You know, but these guys are resilient. They're guys that keep fighting to come back and make a solid contribution to the New Orleans Saints team. And Davenport, we'll see him in some action. I don't know how much action, but it has been said that the Saints will get some of their personnel in this preseason game. The next one coming up here against the Los Angeles Chargers. We don't know how much they'll play, but we know they eventually will play some, and hopefully we can see this team for a few possessions, maybe for a quarter, to see the first team out there and some duty before they put them away for the rest of the preseason heading into the regular season. So interesting conversations from all those guys. And let's move into our next phase of the show when we talk about who that is, which is the segment where we break down one offensive, one defensive person. In today's show, we'll have defensive back. We have Natrell Jamerson. Of course, Natrell Jamerson is a rookie, 6 feet, almost 200-pound rookie. Excellent speed for this guy out of the University of Wisconsin. The Saints drafted Natrell Jamerson in this year's draft. He was a 4-year letterman at the University of Wisconsin. He played in 47 games with 16 starts in the defensive backfield for the Badgers from 2015 to 2017 after playing wide out his freshman year in 2014 for his college career. He recorded 88 tackles, 61 of them solos. He had 16 pass defense, 2 interceptions, 5 tackles for a loss, a sack and a half, and 38 kick returns for 784 yards. He averaged almost 21 yards in average on kick returns, and he had a touchdown. Now, he's from Ocala, Florida, just like P.J. Williams, and he's fending for a spot on the team, both on the defense and special teams, which he probably will get an opportunity. They give him an opportunity to play, but he's probably somewhere in that mixture with Bo Scott and Brandon Tate. If something was to happen to those guys, I'm pretty sure he's a guy that probably will come and help out. He contributed to a unit that ranked second nationally in total defense for Wisconsin, which they held opponents 262 yards per game. He was number 3 in scoring defense that year with 14 points per game, number 3 in rushing defense, and number 1 in pass efficiency. So he was on a good team, pretty good. He shared Jimmy Natrell Team Most Valuable Player Award with fellow senior teammates. He had a career day to open the big conference play versus Northwestern, recording 2 interceptions, including 1 return for a touchdown. He had 6 tackles and a half a sack in that game. He had 5 tackles versus Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game and recorded 6 tackles and a pass breakup for Michigan. Now, we can go all into all of his stuff that he's done. He's just been a terrific player in the years that he's played. He earned a third letter playing in 8 games with 2 starts at nickelback. He earned his first career start versus Akron, returned 1 kickoff for 26 yards as he logged 4 tackles, 1 pass breakup. He had 3 kickoff returns for a season best 62 yards in the Big Ten championship game against Penn State. He also had 3 solo tackles. He made career high 5 tackles, also a solo and a return, 3 kicks for 61 yards versus Purdue. He recorded 2 passes defense versus Minnesota. He earned his second letter appearing in all 13 games as a Badger, primarily as a kick return, and brought back 21 kicks for an average of 22 yards per run back. He finished the season with 14 total tackles. He logged career numbers against Minnesota. He scored 98-yard touchdown and kick return on Maryland, and he finished his career with 125 yards on 3 kickoff returns. He earned his first letter playing in 12 games from the wide receiver position. He rushed for 23 yards on 1 attempt versus Illinois. He returned the kick 21 yards versus Maryland. So this guy has a lot of statistics to behold. Now, personally, he majored in human development and family studies. He prepped at Vanguard High School in Florida along with P.J. Williams. He finished a career of 119 receptions for 2,096 yards. He had 42 touchdowns there in high school, and he was first team Class 6A All-State selection by the Associated Press as a senior after posting 68 receptions for 1,195 yards and 17 touchdowns, along with 2 kick returns for touchdowns. He was named All-District, Most Valuable Player, Florida Atlantic Coaches Association. He a 2-time All-District Player, All-Country pick as a senior and as a junior. And as a junior, he did catch 33 passes for 643 yards and 7 touchdowns on his way to being named All-Florida Team. So he finished an All-District, All-Country pick as senior. There you go about Natrell Jamerson. Of course, the Saints really have high expectations for Natrell Jamerson coming to here because the Saints believe that he could be a guy that can really help them out. Natrell Jamerson seems to have the size, speed, and the intelligence. He played safety and making the transition over to cornerback. He has the speed as being a blazing fast wide receiver. So that's Natrell Jamerson. Now let's talk about the offense. Going over to the offense, we're going to talk about big offensive lineman Rick Leonard, who's really starting to step up. Of course, we had the show earlier, which talked about Rick Leonard, receiving praise from Pro Football Focus and giving him a ranking of about 77 because of what he was able to do based upon the snaps he was given. Now, of course, Rick Leonard, huge man, but he is huge man, 6'7", 311 pounds out of Florida State. Of course, he was one of the Saints draft picks this year, and during his college career is another guy that played another position, then made the change. He was his college career 2 years started at right tackle for Florida State after transitioning over from defensive end. Leonard excelled in both pass protection, run blocking as he opened 19 games out of 37 games played. Worked himself into right tackle position initially in New Orleans, where he completed for a roster spot in the training camp. In 2017, he started all 13 games at right tackle, helped the Seminoles running back Cam Akers and Jacquizz Patrick total combined 1,772 yards with 14 touchdowns. Akers broke the program's freshman rushing record with 1,024 at Syracuse, paved holes for Akers to rush for 199. Now, 14 best in school history, he helped secure the season's best 504 yards on offense versus Louisiana Monroe in the season finale. In 2016, he started 6 games at right tackle. The first 3 and final 3 converted defensive ends saved his best football for last, providing lanes for Delvin Cook to amass 225 yards rushing for 4 touchdowns at Syracuse and 153 yards for Cook to go with no sacks allowed versus the 5th-ranked Florida defense. Seminoles also averaged 202 yards rushing per game, 206 yards passing. He helped the Seminoles score 33 points in the Orange Bowl, the most given up by the number 6 Michigan defense in 2016. He played in all 13 games alone. The Seminoles defensive line recorded 5 tackles, 2.5 sacks for a loss. He had a career high 4 tackles and 1.5 stops for loss versus Chattanooga. He had 1 tackle for loss in the Peach Bowl against Houston in 2014, and as a reserve defensive end, he appeared in 4 games as a freshman, made 1 tackle versus Citadel, also logged in action against Wake Forest, Louisville, and then of course Oregon in the Rose Bowl. Now, he was shared the most outstanding defensive player honor following his 2015 spring practice game. Now, he majored in criminology, prepped at Middleton High School, where he led the team to 3rd straight Class A state championship as a senior, capturing the state's Defensive Player of the Year award by the Maryland Sport Writers and the consensus All-State First Team. He totaled 30 solo tackles, 14 sacks, 24 tackles for loss as a senior in 2013, had 67 tackles, 12 sacks, 18.5 tackles for loss as a junior in 2012. He also played lacrosse in high school, played in offense, defense, All-American Bowl in Orlando, Florida. Following the senior season, both his father and grandmother attended Florida State, enjoys playing the guitar. Rick Leonard, who comes to New Orleans as the 4th round draft pick, will have an opportunity, and he's looking good. He's coming on late, him and guys like Will Clapp, who was the last pick for the Saints in this year's draft, and he continues to show up and show out, and with guys ahead of them like Ryan Ramczyk, Teron Armstead, it feels good to see the youth starting to really step up. If they can do what last year's rookie class, listen, I know that's a lot for them to ask for, what last rookie class helped achieve. If this rookie class with Davenport, Leonard, and all these guys can step up and provide similar effect to what they did last year, the Saints' future is looking bright, definitely looking bright. And with Rick Leonard at right tackle and Ryan Ramczyk there, we're looking to have that depth just in case Teron Armstead gets hurt, have help. Hopefully he stays healthy, but you know about Teron, he always gets dinged up. So, but that'll do it for the show today. Thank you guys for listening to the Sports Coma, Big Q and the guys. As always, if you enjoy the show, please feel free to donate. www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. You can make a one-time donation, or you can join up to be a monthly donator to the show to help build a platform. As always, you can go and join our social media at Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Remember, on Facebook and Twitter, we always post new stories from the Saints, from the Pelicans, from Box and all that. Why go and search all the way around for news, Saints? Just go and make it simple on yourself. Join us on Facebook, join us on Twitter, and get all the latest Saints news right at your disposal. So thank you for joining us today. As always, from me and the crew, peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.